The science of lightning is known as A. Aerology, B. Meteorology, C. Electrology, D. Fulminology. 2. Which of the following is not a constituent of air, or Earth's atmosphere? A. Argon, B. Nitrogen, C. Hydrogen, D. Water vapors. 3. Which instrument is used to measure wind speed? A. Anemometer, B. Barometer, C. Hydrometer, D. Hygrometer. 4. In a very low temperature, which of the following will freeze at last? A. River water, B. Sea water, C. Canal water, D. Water in a lake. 5. Wind is caused by A. Rotation of the Earth, B. Revolution of the Earth, C. Difference in atmospheric temperature, D. Difference in atmospheric pressure. 1. D. Fulminology. 2. C. Hydrogen. 3. A. Anemometer. 4. B. Sea water. 5. D. 1. The science of clouds and its formation is known as A. Cloudology, B. Fulminology, C. Electrology, D. Nephology. 2. Fog is formed when water vapors, A. Condenses, B. Evaporates, C. Melts, D. Solidifies. According to the UN Climate Report 2021, the planet Earth is heated by blank since the 19th century. A. 0.1 degrees Celsius, B. 1.1 degrees Celsius, C. 2.1 degrees Celsius, D. 3.1 degrees Celsius. 2 main gases that cause greenhouse effect are carbon dioxide and A. Argon, B. Nitrogen, C. Methane, D. Fluorine. Answers 1. D. Nephology. 2. A. Condensers. 3. B. 1.1 degrees Celsius. 4. C. Methane. There are 7 continents in the world. The total area of these 7 continents is about A. 118 million km², B. 128 million km², C. 138 million km², D. 148 million km². 7. The Panama Canal in Panama is a man-made 77 km waterway that connects A. Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean, B. Atlantic Ocean and Arctic, C. Arctic Ocean and Antarctic Ocean, D. Pacific Ocean and Arctic Ocean. 8. Islands which measure less than 1 acre, or less than 4,046.86 meters square, are often referred to as A. Atolls, B. Tributaries, C. Islets, D. Archipelagos. 9. The Pico Island is located in A. Switzerland, B. Portugal, C. Turkey, D. Egypt. 10. Sultan Ahmed Mosque in Istanbul is popularly known as the A. Green Mosque, B. Blue Mosque, C. Red Mosque, D. Yellow Mosque. Answers 6. D. 148 million km². 7. Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean. 8. C. Islets. 9. B. Portugal. 10. B. Blue Mosque. 11. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the oldest of the ancient 7 wonders of the world, is located in A. Egypt, B. Portugal, C. Switzerland, D. Turkey. 12. Lake Lucerne, that has complicated shape with several sharp bends and forearms, is located in A. Egypt, B. Portugal, C. Switzerland, D. Turkey. 13. Which city is also called the City of 1,000 Minarets? A. Istanbul, B. Cairo, C. Mecca, D. Islamabad. 14. The South Pole of the Earth is located in A. Norway, B. Antarctica, C. Arctic Ocean, D. Pacific Ocean. 15. The North Pole of the Earth is located in A. Norway, B. Antarctica, C. Arctic Ocean, D. Pacific Ocean. Answers 11. A. Egypt. 12. C. Switzerland. 13. B. Cairo. 14. B. Antarctica 15. C. Arctic Ocean 16. Which statement is true about South and North poles of the Earth? A. South Pole is warmer than the North Pole. B. North Pole is warmer than the South Pole. C. Both poles have equal temperature. D. Both poles lie in the ocean 17. The Sinai Peninsula is located in A. Egypt, B. Portugal, C. Switzerland, D. Turkey 18. Augusta Raurica, a Roman archaeological site, was a theatre, B. Open-air theatre, C. Museum, D. Open-air museum 19. Augusta Raurica is located in A. Egypt, B. Portugal, C. Switzerland, D. Turkey 20. The Pena Palace, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is located in A. Egypt, B. Portugal, C. Switzerland, D. Turkey. Answers: 16. B. North Pole is warmer than the South Pole 17. A. Egypt 18. D. Open Air Museum 19. C. Switzerland 20. B. Portugal 21. The bridge in Istanbul, Turkey that connects Asia and Europe is called A. Golden Gate Bridge, B. Akashi-Kaikyo Bridge, C. Bosphorus Bridge, D. Royal Gorge Bridge 22. Alexandria is a city in A. Turkey, B. Egypt, C. Jordan, D. Greece 23. About % of Antarctica is covered by ice. A. 94, B. 96, C. 98, D. 124. Ross Island in the Ross Sea is located near A. Greenland, B. Norway, C. Continent of Antarctica, D. Continent of Australia 25. The first European to reach India by sea was A. Christopher Columbus, B. Marco Polo, C. John Cabot, D. Vasco da Gama. Answers: 21. C. Bosphorus Bridge 22. B. Egypt 23. C. 98-24. C. Continent of Antarctica 25. D. Vasco da Gama 26. Vasco da Gama was a explorer. A. British, B. French, C. German, D. Portuguese. 27. The World Wide Web was invented by A. Tim Berners-Lee, B. Bob Kahn, C. Steve Jobs, D. Bill Gates 28. The birthplace of the World Wide Web was A. NASA, B. Pentagon, C. CERN, D. Microsoft 29. The headquarters of the European Organization for Nuclear Research, called CERN, is located in A. Belgium, B. Switzerland, C. Germany, D. England 30. The book Emile, or On Education, was written by A. Rousseau, B. Socrates, C. Plato, D. Aristotle. Answers: 26. D. Portuguese 27. A. Tim Berners-Lee 28. C. CERN 29. B. Switzerland 30. A. Russia 31. The world's longest land border between the two countries is the border between A. US and Canada, B. US and Mexico, C. India and Pakistan, D. South Korea and North Korea 32. The world's largest island is A. Greenland, B. Finland, C. Indonesia, D. United Kingdom 33. Which country is the largest archipelagic country in the world? A. Greenland, B. Finland, C. Indonesia, D. United Kingdom 34. Indonesia is a country with around islands. A. 10,000, B. 11,000, C. 12,000, D. 13,035. The most dispersed country in the world is A. Maldives, B. Indonesia, C. Malaysia, D. Philippines. Answers: 31. A. US and Canada 32. A. Greenland 33. C. Indonesia 34. D. 13,035. A. Maldives 36. The Maldives is spread over blank kilometer 2. A. 60,000. B. 70,000. C. 80,000. D. 90,037. Maldives, a country in Asia, is consisted around blank islands. A. 1100. B. 1152. C. 1192. D. 1238. Which country is also called the Land of the Midnight Sun? A. Japan. B. Norway. C. Netherlands. D. South Africa 39. Which country is also called Rainbow Nation? A. Japan. B. Norway. C. Netherlands. D. South Africa 40. Netherlands literally means A. Ideal location, B. Lower countries, C. Mouth of land, D. Land of sunset. Answers: 36. D. 90,037. C. 1192-38. B. Norway 39. D. South Africa 41.40. B. Lower countries. Which country contains the most volcanoes in the world? A. Indonesia. B. Maldives. C. South Africa. D. Mexico 42. Which country is the lowest in the world? A. Indonesia. B. Maldives. C. South Africa. D. Netherlands 43. Which country recognizes the highest number of official languages? A. Indonesia. B. Maldives. C. South Africa. D. Mexico 44. The Constitution of South Africa recognizes blank official languages. A. 8. B. 9. C. 10. D. 1145. Which country is completely surrounded by South Africa? A. Gabon. B. Laos. C. Lesotho. D. Niue. Answers: 41. A. Indonesia 42. B. Maldives 43. C. South Africa 44. D. 1145. C. Lesotho 46. The Komodo Dragons are found in A. Indonesia. B. Maldives. C. South Africa. D. Egypt 47. Jeju Island, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is located in A. Indonesia. B. Egypt. C. South Africa. D. South Korea 48. Borobudur, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is located in A. Indonesia. B. Egypt. C. South Africa. D. South Korea 49. The Orange River flows in A. Indonesia. B. Egypt. C. South Africa. D. Mexico 50. The Chapultepec Castle is located in A. Indonesia. B. Egypt. C. South Africa. D. Mexico. Answers: 46. A. Indonesia 47. D. South Korea 48. A. Indonesia 49. C. South Africa 50. D. Mexico 51. The largest desert in the world is A. Antarctica. B. Arctic. C. Sahara. D. Atacama 52. The largest cold desert in the world is A. Antarctica. B. Arctic. C. Sahara. D. Atacama 53. The largest hot desert in the world is A. Chilistan. B. Arctic. C. Sahara. D. Atacama 54. The Sahara Desert is located in A. Asia. B. Africa. C. South America. D. Australia 55. The driest desert in the world is A. Sahara Desert, B. Cholistan Desert, C. Arabian Desert, D. Atacama Desert. Answers: 51. A. Antarctica 52. A. Antarctica 53. C. Sahara 54. B. Africa 55. D. Atacama Desert 56. The Atacama Desert is located in A. Asia, B. Africa, C. South America, D. Australia. 57. Kansai International Airport on an artificial island is located in A. China, B. Japan, C. South Korea, D. North Korea. 58. The 7 Rila Lakes are located in A. Bulgaria, B. Hungary, C. Poland, D. Czech Republic. 59. The largest waterfalls system in the world is A. Angel Falls, B. Victoria Falls, C. Niagara Falls, D. Iguazu Falls. 60. The famous waterfall, Iguazu Falls, is located on the border of A. United States and Canada, B. Chile and Portugal, C. Argentina and Brazil, D. Paraguay and Uruguay. Answers: 56. C. South America. 57. B. Japan. 58. A. Bulgaria. 59. D. Iguazu Falls. 60. C. Argentina and Brazil. 61. The United Nations was founded on A. March 24, 1945, B. October 24, 1945, C. March 24, 1949, D. October 24, 1950. 62. Which country from the following is not a member of UNO? A. Vatican City, B. Afghanistan, C. North Korea, D. Vietnam. 63. The International Court of Justice is located in New York, B. Washington, C. Geneva, D. The Hague. 64. The Great Wall of China is about blank kilometer long. A. 18,196, B. 19,196, C. 20,196, D. 21,196. 65. The oldest university in the world is A. Cambridge University, B. Oxford University, C. University of Bologna, D. University of Warwick. Answers: 61. B. October 24, 1945. 62. A. Vatican City. 63. D. The Hague. 64. D. 21,196. 65. C. University of Bologna. 66. There are blank, non-permanent members of the Security Council. A. 5, B. 7, C. 10, D. 15. 67. The currency of Indonesia is a rupiah, B. Dinar, C. Ringgit, D. Rial. 68. The D8 is an organization of 8 blank countries. A. Developed, B. Developing, C. Asian, D. African. 69. The European Union's working capital is in A. London, B. Lisbon, C. Austria, D. Brussels. 70. The headquarters of NATO is located in New York, B. Paris, C. Geneva, D. Brussels. Answers: 66. C. 1067. A. Rupiah. 68. B. Developing. 69. D. Brussels. 70. D. Brussels. 71. The motto of United Nations is A. It's your world, B. Life for all, C. Peace, D. Love and peace. 72. The world's highest mountain, Mount Everest, is located along the border of A. China and India, B. China and Pakistan, C. China and Nepal, D. Canada and United States. 73. The headquarters of Red Cross is in New York, B. Washington, C. Geneva, D. The Hague. 74. World Trade Organization was established in A. 1980, B. 1985, C. 1990, D. 1995. 75. The North Atlantic Treaty, NATO, was signed in A. 1945, B. 1947, C. 1949, D. 1951. Answers. 71. A. It's Your World. 72. C. China and Nepal. 73. C. Geneva. 74. D. 1995. 75. C. 1949. 76. Which country, on the map of world, appears as Longshu? A. Portugal, B. Italy, C. Greece, D. Hungary. 77. Which from the following countries is not a member of D8? A. India, B. Pakistan, C. Nigeria, D. Turkey. 78. The largest ocean of the world is A. Atlantic, B. Pacific, C. Indian, D. None of these. 79. Which from the following countries does not yield veto power? A. United States, B. United Kingdom, C. Canada, D. France. 80. OIC changed its name from Organization of the Islamic Conference to Organization of Islamic Cooperation in A. 1991, B. 1999, C. 2001, D. 2011. Answers. MCQS General Knowledge. 76. B. Italy. 77. A. India. 78. B. Pacific. 79. C. Canada. 80. D. 2011. 81. The most powerful organ of United Nations is A. General Assembly, B. Security Council, C. Secretariat, D. International Court of Justice. 82. The headquarters of Greenpeace International is located in A. Amsterdam, B. Geneva, C. Lisbon, D. Austria. 83. The 3rd of May is observed internationally as A. Labor Day, B. Environment Day, C. Earth Day, D. Press Freedom Day. 84. The capital of Canada is A. Toronto, B. Ottawa, C. Athens, D. Luxembourg. 85. Suez Canal is between A. Arabian Sea and Red Sea, B. Red Sea and North Sea, C. Mediterranean Sea and North Sea, D. Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. Answers. 81. B. Security Council. 82. A. Amsterdam. 83. D. Press Freedom Day. 84. B. Ottawa. 85. D. Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. 86. The permanent secretariat of SAARC is located in A. Islamabad, Pakistan, B. New Delhi, India, C. Kathmandu, Nepal, D. Colombo, Sri Lanka. 87. Which from the following countries is not a member of European Union? A. Norway, B. Ireland, C. Malta, D. Estonia. 88. The currency of Israel is A. Euro, B. Shekel, C. Forint, D. Krone. 89. Which country, by electorate, is the world's largest democracy? A. United States, B. United Kingdom, C. China, D. India. 90. The permanent secretariat of OIC is located in A. Mecca, B. Medina, C. Jeddah, D. Riyadh. Answers. 86. C. Kathmandu, Nepal. 87. A. Norway. 88. B. shekel 89. D. India 90. C. Jeddah 91. The highest part of the Earth is A. Mount Everest, B. K2, C. Norway, D. North Pole 92. The lowest part of the Earth is A. Dead Sea, B. Mariana Trench, C. South Africa, D. South Pole 93. The deepest part of the Earth is A. Dead Sea, B. Mariana Trench, C. South Africa, D. South Pole 94. The headquarters of Amnesty International is in A. Amsterdam, B. Geneva, C. London, D. Berlin 95. The headquarters of Transparency International is in A. Amsterdam, B. Geneva, C. London, D. Berlin. Answers 91. A. Mount Everest 92. A. Dead Sea 93. B. Mariana Trench 94. C. London 95. D. Berlin 96. The largest island of the world is A. Iceland, B. Greenland, C. England, D. Sri Lanka 97. The 22nd of April is observed internationally as A. Labor Day, B. Environment Day, C. Earth Day, D. Press Freedom Day 98. Yellow Sea lies between A. America and Canada, B. England and France, C. China and Korea, D. Norway and Sweden 99. The smallest sea of the world is A. Dead Sea, B. Red Sea, C. Baltic Sea, D. Arabian Sea 100. World's famous bridge Golden Gate Bridge is in at San Francisco, B. New Delhi, C. France, D. Sydney. Answers 96. B. Greenland 97. C. Earth Day 98. C. China and Korea 99. C. Baltic Sea 100. A. San Francisco 101. Which country is called Land of Thousand Islands? A. Malaysia, B. Indonesia, C. Ireland, D. Finland 102. Indonesia is an archipelago comprising approximately